Welcome to NDCBF Marriage Ministry Video Series. This video was recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frankie McCall, and I'm with North Dallas Community Bible Fellowship. And this is my beautiful wife, Sharice.
Yes, we're with the Marriage Ministry. Today's episode is titled Secrets of a Godly Marriage.
Yes.
And we are really pleased to have Derrick and Lakisha Culpepper with us today. So help us welcome them. Derrick and Lakisha for joining us.
Thank you.
We want to ask you all a few questions about your secrets to your godly marriage. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So how did you all meet and how long have you all been married?
Well, do you want the true version or you want the
Derrick's version. Just
so I well, go ahead, ladies first.
Tell the truth. I transferred to East Central University in grade Ada, Oklahoma. And really what happened was, according to Derrick's friends, he found out this new girl that had came to school. So he broke into my dorm room with his friend Boo. And so that's really the first time we met.
I have no criminal record now.
But he tells a different story, but he pretended like he knew me. And I knew I didn't know him, but I was tired. So I said, fine. So I actually went upstairs to talk to him because my RA came and said, who are these people in your room? And I said, I don't know because they broke in as strangers. So that's how we met.
Well, only about 2% of that is true.
Okay, what's the rest of it?
When she came, she looked lost in the dorm room, like she didn't know where she was at, and I was an RA, so it was my job to assist people. And so, I went up to her. I did do a little preliminary research and found out where she was from. I didn't know what I was dealing with.
Did your homework.
Yep, and you like Boaz, I didn't find out what I was dealing with here.
There you go.
And so, I went up to her, and yes, I did pretend briefly, just to kind of break the ice, that I knew her. Now, breaking and entering piece, I wasn't convicted of nothing. There's no evidence. I don't know if that's not true, that I did not break into her room. And so, from that point on, I think we just started talking.
Yeah, we were pretty much
friends.
And
And just kind of went from there. And then plus I had on a bad suit, 3-piece, I believe.
he did not.
What color was
She
it?
liked my suit, but she didn't know I came with it.
Yes, sir.
She stuck around too long.
He did not.
She liked my suit and had to take me. Right
Well,
there.
sometimes that's you have to go with what you get.
But yeah, that's how we met in college, in the dorm.
Yeah,
Right there in the lobby.
on a talk.
Ada, Oklahoma, East Central University.
Wow.
That's right.
College.
21 years ago.
So what had kept y'all going so strong this long?
Whew, man. I tell you, it's been a lot of prayer, a lot of fights. Not physical, fights. Because marriage is a process of getting out of yourself, being selfless. That's not easy to do when you understand that through marriage you have to bond and mend together and do this thing as one. So that means the selfish side of you has to start going. It has to start going away. So in our college days, when we were in college, and it was a challenge. But we knew we just couldn't stay without each other, and we just continued to grow together, and then eventually we got married, and just continued to grow together and learn more about each other.
Keisha, what would you say?
I think the biggest part, and I talk to friends about this, especially friends who are single who are considering marriage, I think fundamentally, I knew two things about Derrick. Number one, I knew I wanted to be with him every day. So even when we were upset and we get mad, normally because he did something, never really because I didn't do anything, ever. No, I'm just kidding. But even in those moments, like, he was still my best friend. And so I wanted to talk to him. And interestingly enough, one of my cousins said to me when I was mad at him in Oklahoma City, she said, now you do know, like, if y'all don't stay together, like, you won't be able to talk to him every day and, like, be with him every day.
That's right, 'cause I wouldn't answer the phone.
But when we first met, we were dating other people. And neither one of them liked the fact that we were together all the time because we really were friends for 3 years, like truly friends. And he was really the person I wanted to talk to every day. And so she really made me start thinking, like, this is really the person I want to talk to every day, I want to be with every day. And in spite of anybody I may have dated, if I had anything I needed, or if I needed somebody to pray for me, or if I really wanted to go to Walmart in the middle of the night and get a rotisserie chicken, or go to the hospital and eat and study, like, Derrick was my person I would call. And so he's someone I admired and wanted to be around for more than just physical, but I admired him as a person, and I appreciated just things about his character. And so the big thing is that we really genuinely had a good friendship and a respect for each other as people before the romance ever started. But as the romance has continued, and sometimes you have disappointments and uncertainty about things that go, I really reflect back to the things that I do appreciate most about him. And in those situations when you want to say, which he hates, you always or you never, when you want to go to that place, that's not ever true. He's never anything. He's not always anything, except he's fundamentally always my friend. And so that's what I hold to.
That is really interesting. Fundamentally, always your friend.
I know it was one thing that stood out to me. Lakisha and I were friends. I used to cut her hair. Remember you saw the picture when her hair was low, right? And sometimes, when you cut her, you ask the person to close your eyes and get her hair off of them. There was one time I tried to sneak a kiss, and she's like, "Nope, we ain't gonna carry on the appearance of you." And then I had to cut her hair in my dorm room with a dog. She would not let me close the door. And I was like, wow, I wanted to close the door like we were give some shit. But she was like, no, we're not gonna carry on the appearance of you. No, and so I was like, that really stuck out to me. And I tried it a couple times, didn't work. But I at least tried. Sneak some kiss on the cheek, close your eyes, you got some hair on your cheek. But it was really a blessing to me. It just stood out as something different, unique. And I said, I really admire that. Even maybe chase her more.
So that kept it. She had boundaries, and you respected her boundaries.
Yes.
And that kept it.
Yes, she had, right.
She had boundaries, and you respected that.
Right.
And that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. And even with your relationship, I heard you said you was friends first. That's good because when you got emptiness, then what? You can reflect back on your friendship.
Right.
And that should continue as a friendship. You should be always making new memories that you can have and go off of.
Right.
And that's very important. So that means you should still, you don't get married to date. You date to marry, right? You marry to date.
Date to marry, you marry to date.
Yeah, you can do both of them.
We still get tickled with Bible stories on how we met because seemingly every time we tell them something's added, something's taken away from it, but something common though, about the way that we met, and so it's always a conversation that brings about a smile. We laugh and tell each other we ain't telling the truth about something. But it's always something.
It's all good.
How would you say you all overcome conflict?
I would say
Intense moments. We call them intense moments of fellowship.
Right.
Perspective.
Yes.
It's
Fellowship is just intense.
Right. So how do you make them less intense?
Well, I'm learning to dwell with my wife according to knowledge. I believe when you're together, you learn what buttons can push the person, and you know which ones help ease them too.
Yeah.
And so over years we've learned, I better not say that this ain't the right time. I'm just paraphrasing like if I'm
Right.
No, Keisha come in the house. I know, don't ask her to do nothing because she still got work on her mind. So if I compile that, then I'm gonna get a reaction that I'm not gonna like. Like we talked about in class, the way you talk to somebody and talk to them and stuff. That was me he was talking about. So I don't like it. So I said, well, let me stay away from that. I'll catch it later. But the way we've done it is through prayer and through learning to understand our mate and learning how to give her room, learning when to kind of come up with certain conversations at the right time, but learning that through prayer and through mentorship. To learning from other people. Man, I wouldn't do that if I were you. This ain't the time right now. You need to let it ride for me. Don't go kicking in no door trying to say that.
Right.
But just mentorship. I believe in prayer. Find God's word.
Yeah, and godly mentorship, right?
Oh,
Godly counseling. I think everybody has friends and neighbors and aunties and mamas and them and people that you could go to and share these moments. But one of the things God has challenged me to do is in those moments where we may be in the midst of conflict or where conflict may be on the horizon, to pray about it first. Always seek God's counsel first. And then if we've had a moment that I do need to decompress a dialogue, I have to do that If I need to do that with someone other than Derrick, I have to be mindful of who I have those conversations with.
Yes.
Because you can have that conversation with someone who adds fuel to your fire and doesn't pour into you what's godly, what's holy, what's right. And so you have to be mindful about who you share those with. And so I really feel like for me, I've been very intentional about who's in my circle of friendship as it relates to the things that I share about my husband. And I guarantee that it's people who love him just as much as they love me. Because that tends to give me a better yield from the time that I spend with them. And so that's a part of it. And then sometimes what I've also learned is, and God spoke this to me in a real way, like if I don't enter into this conversation, like if I don't go there, like I won't die. So
Maybe
some
painful.
conflict, yeah, but you won't die. So some conflicts can be avoided. And even if it gets to bubbling up, if I take the high road or the godly road and say, yeah, I didn't like how you said that, but you know what? We're gonna just let it slide and we're gonna move on. I won't die. It's not the end of the world. And every situation does not have to be solved today.
Yeah.
And 99.99% of them can wait.
Yeah.
There are very few things that we're talking about or discussing that would be an argument that can't wait. Like it really can wait. And so we're both at a better place to have that conversation and to deal with it.
That's real wisdom. That's real wisdom.
How much would you say the Lord is in your everyday living?
So I can say, looking back from when we first started in college, that God's presence is more and more sought after and appreciated, and it causes us to humble ourselves more, which I think is what causes us to get along. Otherwise, we fight and be more selfish and be all of those individually worldly things versus transforming over to the likeness of Christ and being humble and being patient, being caring, being concerned, giving up the football game to cuddle or whatever. So see, I probably would have had something to say about that in 2005, 6. I'm finna watch the game, do what I'm finna do.
Yeah.
Versus now, the game ain't important.
Yeah.
More what you need, baby. See what I'm saying? So I believe because of Christ in our life, that transformation continues to take place. We hunger and thirst after righteousness in our walk. Well, in marriage, we hunger and thirst after taking care of each other, being servants to each other. How can we serve each other as we, and reading those quotes like on our marriage ministry, social media pages, and those things that keep us humble and keep us hungry, to care for one another.
And you said something very interesting. You said like-minded people when you getting advice. That's mean you have a relationship with other people like you that's going through stuff and don't mind sharing too.
That's right.
Right.
In other words, you building a community.
Right.
And that community is not just important for us, but it's also important for our children,
Yes.
right? And so, it is often in our marriage where I feel like God has given me some wisdom to share with my husband. And I will share with him and I will say, this blue shirt is a great shirt. And he will say, oh, I don't know. And one of his friends will say, this blue shirt is a great shirt. And he will come home and say, guess what he told me? Guess what I just found out? And I have to stop myself from saying, because 2005, that's what I told you yesterday, when it was on sale, ask full price. And so absolutely, but that's okay. And I'm learning to be okay with that, because I do know that his ear, while it's tuned to my voice in certain ways and in certain times, it is not an absolute.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with that. And the same is true the opposite direction. There are sometimes when he speaks things and I am really making a grocery list in my head. And I'm sure I should do better.
I can see it in your
And I
eyes.
can see the words, the lips are moving, but I'm like, what are we talking about? And so to give each other grace, and what I found is, the word tells us that Christ is the true vine, right? And we talk about that vine. And I think of it like a cell phone. Like, you can charge your cell phone overnight, and you can have some battery life for maybe a day, maybe 2, depending on what device you have. But the reality is, if you don't connect to that source, you're going to lose power, you're going to lose operation, you're going to lose function. And the same is true in my Christian walk and in this marriage. If we're not connected to the Lord daily, Derrick and I, if you're ever in our home in the morning, we're up at about 5, maybe a little bit before. Derrick really does go to his corner of the room and pray. I go to my place and pray. And so we have our own, it's almost akin to a boxing ring where we retreat to our own corners with the Lord each morning. And so I may be doing praise and worship, I may be looking at a video or something, and he's doing his own thing. And what I've found is the more we do that individually, the better we are attuned to each other when we come together. And so, we can't negate our responsibility to really make the Lord the center of our individual lives, because it gives me the charge I need to be more functional in this relationship, to operate at this higher place.
That is so key, what you're saying about the individual journeys with the Lord that are taking place simultaneously with your collective journey with the Lord. And so the Lord is involved, it sounds like, every day, and not just as a couple, but as two Christians who are trying to follow Christ the best they can.
Absolutely.
I think that's really key, because I believe sometimes there's this myth that once two Christians marry each other, that they are walking on the exact same individual spiritual journey. And you really are in that on that path where God has you on a journey, Lakisha. He's got you on a journey, Derrick. Then he's got you all on one.
That's right.
And I think that's very key, to never lose sight of the fact that God is growing you as individuals, and in the process also growing you. When we in the class, that part we read in the book about seeing our spouses the way God sees them.
Exactly.
Understanding that while we fully understand that we're children of God, I'm a child of God, but understanding
I'm
that
a daughter.
I'm the daughter of a king. Well, I'm the daughter of a king, and this is the son of the king.
That's right.
And so you have to keep in mind that God is holding me accountable, because this is his child too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That he loves.
That he loves.
And that when he meets him, we'll say, well done, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And what am I doing to build up the kingdom that starts here?
Yeah.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you.
Amen.
Because if you seek him, he'll teach you patience, kindness, being selfless, and all of those will come along with it, because you're seeking him first. You're looking in the Word of God, which is the mirror. It's going to show you. Uploaded ministry video like that, Facebook. How do you see yourself through the eyes of God? And then it's going to encompass all of those traits that are needed to make your marriage awesome.
That's good. Thank you all so much for joining us today. This has been lovely. We appreciate you sharing your testimony, and I know that it's going to bless someone. We wish you all the best, and we're going to continue to pray for you.
Thank you. Same.
Thank you all for joining us, and we want to remind you to follow us on social media. The North Dallas Community Bible Fellowship Marriage Ministry is on Facebook, and we are also on Instagram, so follow us. And again, thank you for joining us for Secrets to a God.
Bye.